Hello everyone and welcome to the virtual world. My name is Keren Kenzi. I'm a senior software engineer. It doesn't work. Wait. Okay, so welcome to the virtual world. My name is Keren Kenzi. I'm a senior software engineer. I love to volunteer in different initiatives to help others in their professional growth. And I study psychology also in my spare time. And today I'm going to talk about A-Frame. A-Frame is a web framework that provides you with a way to create virtual reality on your browser, mobile, for your headset, etc. It supports different kind of headset. If you have Oculus, how many of you here have some sort of headset? Oculus? Okay. So afterwards, promise me you will try to give it a try at home and check it out. I myself, unfortunately, haven't won any Oculus at the conference or at any other conference, so I will show you how you can do it in your regular web browser. You don't need a headset. It supports also regular website, regular browser. So A-Frame utilizes WebXR in order to get access to the position and orientation of the VR headset. And today I'm going to show you how you can build a simple virtual game with just a plain HTML file and a JavaScript file. So let's get started. Now, everybody sees the font, or do I need to increase it? It's okay, right? Great. So what we need to do is basically create an HTML file and just add this following script to our head. Bless you. And in order to get started, what we need to do is to create a scene. So we're going to enter this body and add a scene, which is an element that the root entity, in which all of our 3D object will be inside of it. So let's create our scene. And now if we go to the virtual world, we can see here that we have this icon, meaning it works. And if we click on it, if we have a headset, it will render everything to our headset. But currently we have the browser, so let's see how to add stuff to it. So inside a scene, we want to add the 3D entities and elements. So let's go ahead, add entity. Now, entity by itself is like an empty div. It doesn't have anything, it doesn't have any behavior, functionality, or appearance. If we want to add something to it, we need to use something that is called components. Components are basically kind of like HTML attributes. They enable us to encapsulate code and data in order to add functionality and appearance to our entity. For example, let's say we want to add a box to our virtual world. In order to do this, what we need to do is to add component name geometry. And geometry is a multi-properties component. You can either have single property component or multiple property component. And the way that multiple property components look is basically kind of like inline CSS style. So we should have like primitive box. We should set a position. Now we are dealing with a 3D world, and in the 3D world we have the X, the Y, and the Z. For example, if I have this kind of 3D Super Mario object, then we have the X, the Y, and the Z, and the Z index moves towards us. So if I want to see this object in front of me, what I need to do is to give it a negative index. So let's go ahead and add this box in a right position. So let's say we want a X0, let's say we want to set it on Y, and let's give it an negative index, and let's see if we see something. So, ta-da, we have a box in our virtual world. We can, of course, inspect it like we have the developers tools. We can also have, by clicking on Control Option, we can inspect this element. If we click on it, we can see here additional components that we can add to our entity. We can add, for example, light. We can copy paste it, play with it around. If we want to debug something, you can click, you can give it an ID. If you have several boxes on your virtual world and you want to check which one, you can give it different kind of ID and by ID identify it. So here we have this kind of box. Let's escape this, close it. And because a box and stuff like that are very frequently used, A-frame provides us with certain kind of primitive. Think about like we have primitive in JavaScript, string, number, etc. A-frame has its own primitive. For example, you have a box, you have sky, you have etc. So instead of writing everything like this, and instead of writing, let's say, for example, material provides you with a way to specify, for example, color. Let's say I want to set the color to red, and now the box is red. So instead of doing this long kind of line, what I can do is use the syntactic sugar of a box. Basically, A-frame is very friendly to beginners, to new user. So it gives us this syntactic sugar to make it easier for people to start playing with it. And instead of specifying material, color is red, I just can use color. Now, behind the scene, it's the same. It maps this property to material.color. So we can have this. And instead of, say, we don't need the geometry primitive box anymore. We can just use this and, for example, give the position. So if I take this, copy paste it to it, and just delete this one, I will still have this kind of box in the scene. Basically, it's the same, so it's very nice and easy. You have several primitives. The A-frame website and tutorials are really friendly. There are a lot of great documentation you can use if you want to check the other primitives. But I don't know what about you, but this screen looks a bit empty, right? Like all this white screen is not good for our eyes. It's kind of boring, right? So if we want to add some spice into it and like create a real virtual world, well, we don't need to do it ourselves. There is already a community component that we can use. And in order to do that, what we need to do is to add additional script in order to bring it in. So what we want to do here is to have the following script. I've already created this. Just a second. Okay, so what you see here is a link to the CDN for the A-frame environment components. It provides you with several presets that we can use. So let's get ready for some magic. Let's add entity. And what I want to do here is to add a component named environment. And I want to do a preset. And let's say I want to build a virtual reality in the forest. Ready for it? Yeah. Ta-da! All it took it's just like adding a script and an entity with environment. You can play with it. You can also control the number of trees you have here. For example, you can set it for a dressing amount. Let's say I want 1 tree. No, it didn't work. Of course, live coding. So, wait. Dressing. I said dressing and I wrote dress. Let's see. And now there's supposed to be just 1 tree. I'm not sure where it is. We can maybe search, go, I don't know. So let's get back to the default or set it to 500. And we have our forest. And now let's do a game. Let's remove the box and do something nicer. Now we can use the community and 3D models that other people created. For example, we can go to Sketchfab and download a GLTF model. For example, we can have this pipeline, if you guessed already, the Super Mario team. So what we need to do is go over here, and thanks to this user, we can download the 3D model and click on download GLTF. Now, I've already saved us some time, so I pre-downloaded a few models that we are going to use here. And what we can do here is basically, we can either do something like this, add entity, set a position, set it, for example, to 0, let's say 1, let's say -3, and we can give it like this GLTF model, specify the component, and Let's say pipe. Let's hope it will work. No, I don't see the pipe over here. Okay, so let's inspect it. Of course, live demo. So we have this entity. It's supposed to be over here. For some reason, it's not showing. Maybe it's a scale thing, so we can give it a scale. Let's set it. Let's give it an ID so it will be easier to identify. Models, I made a mistake. And, oh, okay. So we have a pipe. It's really, really huge. It covers all the scene. So let's decrease the size. Okay, better? Yeah. So we can either do it declaratively, add it to the HTML, or we can add it by using the the DOM API. I have already pre-created a script named game. Currently it's empty, but we can use the document API to grab the scene and attach different kind of entity to it. So let's go ahead, grab our scene, const, and use the document query selector. And we can grab it like this. And now we have the scene in our hands. And let's say we want to create a game in which we collect coins. And when we finish collecting the coins, we have a little surprise. So let's start ahead by rendering rendering coins and adding them to the scene. So for the sake of simplicity, and because we only have half an hour and a limited time, let's only collect 3 coins. We won't be rich by it, but still, it's just to demonstrate the way to do it. So const, let's collect 3 coins. And of course, in a regular programming, what we need to do is to make sure the scene was loaded. So we will check if scene.as loaded and then run everything the script to add all these coins. And what we want to do here is to create the coin element. So let's create coin, and let's go ahead and use document, create element, give it a entity. Now, the way to set components in the JavaScript file is to use the document set attributes. So I want to say coin, set attributes. Now we want to set the position. So we do it like this. And we want to give it a X, Y, and Z. Let's say we want to make it based on the on the index. So let's do it, for example, like this. And let's say -3. Let's give it a scale of 3. The scale is according to the X, Y, and Z. And let's edit set attributes. We need to set the GLTF model to represent the coin. So what we need to do here is to bring it on. Coin. And of course, we need to append it to the scene. So we already grabbed the scene, and now we need to append this element. Append child, coin. Let's just see that it worked. No. Oh, correct. I was checking that you haven't fallen asleep after the 2 days. Thanks. Okay, let's hope so. Oh, we have those coins. Let's remove the pipe because it hides the 3rd coin. Okay, so you see it takes a bit of time to render for it to pop on the screen. Now, the best way to add assets is to use the asset management system. Basically, you want to preload everything before the scene is rendered. So in order to do that, we should go back to the scene, and inside of it, what we need to do is to add something called a asset. This is the assets management system. Simple as that. And what I want to do here is to add an asset item. We can give it an ID so we can link this, link the entities to this item. For example, let's say coin. And I've already created the, so I won't forget the slash this time. So I have this coin, and let's go back to the game. And instead of specifying it over here, what we can do is use this ID I gave. Let's hope it will work. Now it, okay, doesn't work. GLTF model, coin, let's do coin. Of course, live demo, everything that should work doesn't work.
Is it supposed to have the hashtag in front of coin here?
Yeah. Supposed to, yes. GLTF model. Wait a minute, this is the source. Well, trust me, it works. Just joking. This should have worked. Ah, you're right. Thank you. Okay, thanks. It's good that you're here. I'm a bit nervous from the talk, so we have this coin, and you saw that it renders really fast, right? Like it's not like before, so it's really good. And we can also add some additional like animation, like rotation. For example, let's add a rotation. So let's add set attributes animation. And let's add an object name property. Let's add rotation. And let's say 2. And we want to rotate it, let's say, over the y-index. So we do like this. That's way, not this way. And let's move it over here. And what we want to do is to make it loop, the rotation loop, for infinity. So we can set it to true. Let's see if it works. No. Oh, yay. You see? Simple as that. Now, if we're in the game world, we want to set the camera. The camera is the entity through which the user view the world. You know, like you move your head, so it's according to the camera. So what we need to do is to add additional primitive called a camera. And inside of it, what we want to do, if we want to have some interaction in the browser to allow us to do like click events, etc., what we want to do is to add additional primitive called cursor, and it should display like this string that we can click and view it. You see the string? Now we can use the mouse in order to click on the coins and collect them. See it over here? Okay, so now if I click, it doesn't do anything. I need to add event listener just as I do in regular web development. So let's go ahead and add an event listener. Add event listener with mouse down. And what I want to do here is basically do the following thing. I want to grab, additional thing that I want to do is to present the score. Now, if I want to display the score no matter where I look, if I want to display entities no matter where I move my head, what I need to do is to add it as a child component to the camera. So in order to to present the score so far, I will add another primitive called a text. And I can set a value, for example, to score just to see that it actually puts it on the screen, and set a position. The position will be relative to the camera. For example, let's say I want to have it in position, let's say 3, 2, and -3. Let's see if it works. So we have the score over here. See? And now what I want to do is once I collect the coin, I have this event listener. I want to grab the text and set it, update the score. So let's do a similar thing, score, text, and I want to grab the text. And what I want to do here is to set this attribute, set and let's initialize the score to 0. Now where's the plus plus? Let's
Using const.
yeah, you're right.
No, you need to switch line 5 const with that.
Ah, you're right, sorry. It's the end of the day. So I have this core plus plus, and let's see if it works. Okay, so you see it. I grab it and I say that the number increases. What I also want to do is let's keep the score text so we know it's a score. And what I want to also do is to remove the element for the scene. Now each entity in our scene has a reference to its scene element. So what we can do here is basically once we update the score, we can have the scene element. And we can remove child and give it a coin. Dun-dun. Okay, so let's see. So now we collect, the score is updated over here. And you can see that because the score is the child of the camera, whenever I look, the score remains on the screen, no matter where I move. And let's say we want to, after we finish collecting the coin, we want to add our princess to the scene. So let's go ahead and do this. And what we want to do here is to check if you finish to collect all the coin. For example, let's say if score equals coin number, what we want to do here is to add peach. And let's see, add peach. Okay, I've already pre-created it. What we want to do here is to create the element, set the position of peach, the way we did with coin. We have the GLTF model, the same as with the coin. We have this kind of scale, and we also have rotation for a princess. She wants to turn around, show her dress and everything, and append it to the scene. So hopefully, let's see if it will work. Okay, let's see. Work, don't work. Oh, where is a princess? She hasn't shown. Let's see. So we have create. It's a live demo. Everything can go wrong on a live demo. Let's give her. Let's inspect the element. What? Ah, you're right. I'm not sure this affects it. Okay, so I have the score. Yeah, you're right, you're right. And we have our princess. Isn't it a nice, like you said, it's really a way to get creative. Let's add some hearts to it. And hearts. So in the same way we can make, I've already created a screenshot for a snippet for the hearts. So let's add another thing, nice thing to the scene. And let's call this function as well. Basically, it's the same. We want to set the rotation. Let's remove this. Add the heart attribute the same way. We want, this time what we want to do is to fly hearts in the air. So we need to change a different animation property, name position. So we want to start from the ground and move the hearts up the sky. Hopefully, I won't make any programming mistake. Usually I'm better than that. I'm just nervous speaking in front of you. Yeah, of course. I'm just checking that you're paying attention. And let's do the same with Y. And heart. Let's see that I called it the same way. Yes, we have a heart nums. And let's see if created it. Ready to see the hearts flying in the air? Let's see. Will it work? Nice, right? And now you can, if I put this code on GitHub or whatever, you can also play it on your mobile because A-Frame supports mobile, browser, virtual headset, and it's really, really nice. Now, I know it's just a simple game, but it's a way to get started with A-Frame. You can do really amazing things with it. You can actually add movies, add stuff of your own. You can register your own component and deploy it to NPM, publish it to NPM, and then others can use your components. They're a really great community. It's an A-Frame, it's an open source library that you can use. So it's really, really great. And if you're using any models from Sketchfab, remember you need to give attribution to those creators. So those are the models I want to use over here. So we have the Super Mario. So thanks to the creator of those models. It's really, really nice of them to help us create our virtual world. And that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this talk and that you will go home and try it, especially the ones of you that has like the VR headset. Tell me if it works. And I hope you enjoyed it and you have a wonderful conference experience.